In today's video, we're going to be going over the upcoming pattern where there is some big Arctic blasts on the way, including a very cold Thanksgiving. We also have a lot of snowfall out west in the central and in the eastern states. So basically from coast to coast, there is some sort of snow to talk about, and we're going to be going over that today. Now, before we just dive into things, be sure to check out Prestige Weather in the description and pinned comment down below, where we do weather consulting for individuals and businesses alike. If you happen to have a business and you need weather consulting very affordably and also with really revolutionary features, in my opinion, you can check out our services tab on our website and then head to the business section, and that will have an email sign up sheet where you can list your name, give a little description, and we will get back to you. And it's worth checking out. Even if you don't know for sure if you need it, we can go over that with you for sure. So be sure to check it out today. Let's just dive into things. And as we take a look here at the upcoming pattern, I want to take us towards tomorrow afternoon on Sunday, November 19th. We have plenty of snowfall here for the Rockies and the Cascades here. We could see moderate to heavy snowfall for a lot of these mountaintop locations: Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona there. Also note to the east of here for the plains, we actually do have a thunderstorm event for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. It seems more like May than November, at least for this spot here. Not going to be that bad, but just the overall low pressure system location and the thunderstorms out ahead of it does look a little bit spring-like. Not saying the severity will be to that level, but just that frame in particular had an interesting look. Now, we do have an interesting system, speaking of interesting, on Tuesday the 21st coming up, as we see this really pluming positive PNA. I don't even know if that's for sure the right word to use there, but we just see a surge of warm air up the western states. And this is going to ricochet some cold air into the east while this storm is moving in. And we're going to see it kind of just be really messy here in the northeast corner. There is some snowfall potential there. Very confusing system though, and I wouldn't take anything we're about to show you as certain, as I could see some major changes coming both in the warmer or colder direction. Snowfall is not really guaranteed for much of anybody at this point, but we do actually see an earlier start to some of that snowfall for the northern regions of Pennsylvania into kind of the Catskills and Adirondack Mountains of New York. And it does come down pretty moderate to heavy, but look at how everywhere in Pennsylvania in the northeast kind of switches from snow to rain. That's not a good look for accumulation. You know, if it rains on snowfall, usually it melts it. So even if we see accumulation in some of those areas, there's a good chance that a lot of it is melting. We do see a low pressure center near Long Island at this point, according to this current model projection, with an upper low to the north of it that has actually more energy up here. So our primary low is actually to the north, and then we have kind of this secondary low here that I'm underlining. A lot can change, like I said, so just keep that in mind. The main areas I'm watching is going to be Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, where I think we have the most locked-in chance of snowfall. Still not 100% for those areas, but the highest probability of seeing snowfall, and the only areas I would really put at a better chance than not of seeing snowfall is going to be, again, the Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine area. And even them, you can see they switched to rainfall for a majority of these areas. Northern Maine is really the only area that stays snowfall on this current model projection. We could always see this low take over a little bit more, and if we see a trend in that direction, we could see a snowier solution. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep you guys up to date with all of that daily, and even in Prestige Weather if you're interested in joining. This is going to be the centerpiece of our discussion basically for both our businesses and our individual standard members. Let's keep going, and as we take a look at Thursday, it's a little bit quieter. We do have a snow system here. This is going to be Thanksgiving Day, so we see some snowfall here for Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, and Nevada there. Not too shabby, looking a little bit warmer than we originally anticipated. The cold actually comes a little bit later now, so Friday, another interesting day here. We have a low near the Rockies there, causing snowfall for the Rockies and the plains, as you can see. And then a very weak nor'easter. We don't even have an L on screen because this pressure isn't even low enough for Weatherbelt to really consider it to be a low pressure center. There is just some lower pressure, and this causes some rainfall for the mid-Atlantic. There's not enough cold available. All the cold is out west, as you can see out here. And there's actually a lot of warm air surging up the East Coast. So this is going to be a little bit of a warmer, more rainy system, it appears. It's not really until we see it get up to, again, northern New Hampshire and northern Maine, where we see some ice or perhaps snowfall switching over to rainfall as that low progresses further and further northward. The real Arctic blast comes after this with a cold front that brings it through, and we see a lot of cold air. It's interesting how it's centered though. We kind of have this area here, and there's actually some cold spilling out west as well. So it's a little less deep with the cold. It is very brutal where it is cold, but it's just not making it into these more southern areas. A little bit of a southeast ridge influence here, perhaps. And then by the time we're reaching Tuesday, it looks like we're going to have a system cut through this, maybe on this trajectory. And that would potentially mean snowfall for some of these areas. Take that with a grain of salt, though, because this could change significantly. This is hours 240, which is 10 days out. It's pretty hard to forecast a snow system that we're expecting in 3 or 4 days. So consider what a 10-day out system looks like, okay? So this is just a potential, not even close to being something that's locked down or even fully understood yet, but perhaps a pretty significant storm of some extent happening here in the deeper south areas. I think that's a higher probability take. And then some cold, more tilted towards the west, also a pretty high confidence take considering the time out that we're seeing here. Now, a lot of our precipitation this upcoming 10-day period is going to take place in the east, as you can see, as we're going to have this kind of nor'easter flow. There's a lot of what NOAA and the National Weather Service and the Climate Prediction Center are expecting for this upcoming winter. Just significant storms hammering the east coast like this could become a common sight during December, January, and February. Maybe we're getting started with that winter pattern very, very early here. Now, as we take a look at the total snowfall, we could see a lot here for your western mountains as they're in the heart of their snowfall season. We also get quite a bit here in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, as well as the Northeast, which again, a lot of this is going to see rainfall after. So we could see some significant melting from these amounts, but definitely some flakes flying at the very least. Temperature pattern, again, looking warmer through Thanksgiving. It's still going to be a colder day, but I mean, as we take a look at it, that is not substantial cold at all. That's actually more of a neutral pattern if you ask me. And this model really holds back that significant cold until after the weekend. So as we're reaching Monday the 27th into kind of the Tuesday timeframe, we get this more deeper cold air moving through. But the later and later this model continues to show this, the lower the probability goes. So there are some big question marks here. Confidence is not very high in much of anything we talked about today, just because of the circumstances regarding all of this. And I think we have an interesting 10 days ahead that it's going to be important for you to keep up to date with all of this. So be sure to subscribe for daily weather uploads just like this one, where we're going to be breaking all of this stuff down and hopefully getting some more consolidation, hopefully, over the next 10 days at some point. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.